Lenovo's new Legion 7i gaming laptop is finally here, so let's find out what's new in the 2022 version. My configuration has Intel's new 16-core 24-thread Core i9-12900HX processor, NVIDIA RTX 3080 Ti graphics, 32 gigs of DDR5 memory, a 16-inch 2560 by 1600 165Hz screen, and 99 watt-hour battery. These new HX processors from Intel are going to offer higher multi-threaded performance than ever before. But I've already got a whole video explaining those linked in the description. Now, this is the Legion 7i, and the I stands for Intel. You can also get the Legion 7 without that I on the end, which is the AMD version. Now, Lenovo have offered an AMD configuration of the Legion 7 in the past, but that one had an AMD Ryzen processor with NVIDIA graphics. Now this year, the AMD version is an all AMD Advantage configuration, with up to Ryzen 9 6900HX processor and Radeon RX 6850M XT graphics. So this is the first time Lenovo's going all AMD in the Legion 7. And it also means that if you do want the NVIDIA graphics, you have to go with the Intel processor this generation. Now, I need to note that this is an engineering sample, so it means we're not allowed to do in-depth testing. And some things could change between now and when the laptop actually launches. So just think of this as a bit of an early preview, but there still is quite a lot I can show you. Alright, let's start out with the design changes. This year's Legion 7i has an aluminum magnesium metal unibody, and it feels nice and sturdy. Last year's Legion 7i had a little RGB lighting in the letter O of Legion on the lid. This year we've still got the Legion text, but the whole thing lights up now. You've got the option of turning that lighting off anytime with the function +L shortcut though. There's still RGB lighting in all of the air exhaust vents, and of course the RGB light bar that runs along the front and some of the left and right sides, just like last year. Thankfully, the biggest problem that I had with last year's Legion 7i is now gone, and that's the Corsair iCUE software, which was used for managing the RGB lighting effects. This would just drain the battery life fast, so a lot of people ended up either removing it or disabling it. Now this year's Legion 7 and 7i have Lenovo's new Spectrum software, so basically Lenovo have gotten rid of the Corsair software and done it themselves. Unfortunately, my early engineering sample doesn't actually have the software installed, so I'm not able to show it to you at this time. Again, stay tuned for the full review coming soon. I've seen a preview of it though, and it looks like it's got some interesting features. There's a screen sync option, which makes the RGB lighting the same as whatever's displayed on the screen. So if you're watching a movie or something and it's got a lot of blue, then all the RGB will be lit up blue as well, so that it becomes ambient lighting. The touchpad feels smooth and accurate. The camera above the screen has been upgraded from 720p to 1080p. The screen also goes the full 180 degrees back for sharing now, something it didn't do before. We've still got the function +R shortcut to quickly swap the screen's refresh rate between 165Hz and 60Hz, but I noticed the change was pretty much instant now. The screen doesn't go black for a second or two anymore while it changes, which is a nice improvement. I asked Lenovo if there were any plans on making this an option that we could have apply automatically when we unplug the charger, because it does improve battery life. I was told it's not there yet, but maybe in the future. As for the ports, on the left we've got two Thunderbolt 4 Type-C ports, and both have support for external monitors with DisplayPort 1.4. We can also see the new polished metal edges here, which run around the entire laptop. On the right, we've got a 3.5mm audio combo jack, a switch to physically disconnect the camera for privacy, and a USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type-C port. The rest of the ports are on the back. From left to right, we've got the 2.5GB Ethernet port, a fourth USB Type-C port, 3.2 Gen 2 for this one, HDMI 2.1 output, two USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type-A ports, and the power input on the right. So basically this means that the new Legion 7 only has two USB Type-A ports, but it does also have four Type-C ports. I think pretty much every time they've put out a new Legion 7, they've changed one of the Type-A ports to Type-C, which I don't really have too much of a problem with. I know Type-C is clearly the future, and every time that I go and buy a new peripheral, I do try to make it Type-C, because most laptops seem to have adequate Type-C ports these days. I guess if two Type-A ports isn't enough for you, then you might need to look at some cheap adapters. Also, the move from slow gigabit last year to 2.5 gigabit is a welcome change in such a premium device. And now this year, the Ethernet port faces the preferred way with the cables tab sticking up rather than down, so it's easier to remove. The rear Type-C port can also be used to charge the laptop with up to 135 watts, an increase from last year's 100 watts, so faster charging and more performance on Type-C. The icons above the rear ports still light up, which I think is a great feature because you can easily see where cables need to go without turning the laptop around, even in a darker room. And we've still got the option to press the Function + U shortcut to turn these lights on or off. Just like last year, the new Legion 7 still has a mux switch, but it takes things to the next level by introducing Advanced Optimus. At least on the 7i version, as that has NVIDIA graphics. I don't currently know if the all AMD Advantage version is going to have their equivalent of Smart Access graphics, but I certainly hope so because it's a nice feature. It's a great feature because it lets you change between the integrated and discrete graphics without needing to reboot the machine. The change can happen automatically in Windows when you load up a game. The bottom panel was far easier to open compared to previous Lenovo laptops because the side vent doesn't stick out like older versions. Inside, under the usual metal covers, we've got the largest possible 99.9 Wh battery down the front, an increase from last year's 80 Wh maximum. There are two PCIe Gen 4 M.2 SSD slots just above on the left and right sides, two DDR5 memory slots in the middle, and Wi-Fi 6E card on the right. Despite this new larger battery, Lenovo claims that it takes just 30 minutes to charge to 70% with their super rapid charge using the included 300 watt power brick, or 80 minutes to charge up to the full 100% from zero. Both the CPU and GPU are using a phase change thermal compound, and the whole back section of the laptop is covered by a vapor chamber cooler. Combined with the new 12 volt fans, 67% thinner fan blades, and improved air intake, we may have a good shot at getting good performance from the new 16-core HX processor, despite the fact that this year's Legion 7 actually ends up being slightly thinner at the slimmest point. In spite of that thinner design, the keyboard now has 1.5mm of key travel, more than the 1.3mm in last year's 2021 version, which should translate to a nicer typing experience. I thought that the keyboard felt nice to type with, but I can't really compare it with last year's model unless I had them both side by side. You can also easily remove the keycaps now, which should help improve maintenance and cleaning. And Lenovo are offering 4 ceramic keys you could swap out WASD with. The idea behind ceramic keys is that when you've got your hand sitting on WASD, they should transfer heat less compared to the rest of the laptop, so it should be more comfortable. But unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to try them out because they weren't included with my engineering sample. Again, stay tuned for that full review. The WASD keys also have force sensor technology, which is just fancy words for pressure sensitive. Basically, this means in games, actions can change based on how hard you press the keys down. Like maybe holding down the W key will walk your character forward, but then pressing down harder will turn into a run. This is managed through the included Hydra software and would need game support, and there are a number of profiles for specific games already included. Something I noticed straight away after turning it on was the new power button light. Last year's Legion 7 had a little coloured light in the middle. Now we've got a full light ring. Just like the older model, the colour changes to reflect which performance mode is active. And this year's power button also acts as a fingerprint scanner. Yet another new addition to the Legion 7. I just realised I've been saying Legion 7 and 7i pretty interchangeably throughout this video. For the most part, I would expect both laptops to be basically the same in terms of the overall chassis design. The main difference between the CPU and GPU configuration between Intel and AMD would affect things like performance, which isn't things we're looking at here today anyway. So yeah, basically this video should apply to both configurations. So then, when can you actually get these new laptops? In the US market, I've heard we're looking at May this year starting at $2,450 for the 7i, so quite soon. And then June for the all AMD Advantage option starting at $2,050. Here in Australia, we're not getting any of them until July. So yeah, expect different releases in different regions as usual. I'll share game benchmarks, thermals, battery life, and more in the full review as soon as I can, so make sure you're subscribed for that upcoming video. You definitely don't want to miss it. For now though, you can find out what Intel's new HX processors have to offer us in new laptops like this Legion 7 in this video next. So I'll see you over in that one.